our Strike a Chord guest is resounding live on the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show. Also, check out our brand new podcast series, Off the Fret, featuring The Blowies as our inaugural guest. More music talk. Out now wherever you listen to your podcast. Hey, so what's good, fam? How you guys doing?
What's good, man?
Hey.
So let's get this party started off right away because how did the entourage from Queens, New York, and Philadelphia come up with your name, Resounding?
It was actually before we was actually a group, and it was actually my name as artist because I used to be a solo artist beforehand, and we actually did a competition at our school called Stage, and me and Larry was working with each other all the time, and we did this competition, and we came in like third place. So from there, it was another competition where Kiki was always working on music in a downbeat cafe, and then she was always around, and I was looking at her look at us, and I was like, we need another singer.
Got a collab.
So she came through, and then we found like other musicians, and then
that's how we met Eno.
That's how we also met Eno.
That's what's good.
He plays bass.
Yeah.
And then
before we used to just have like just all instruments instead of working like on MIDI stuff. So we were just focusing on like going like that. So Manny was our bassist, and we had a drummer and guitarist, and we just evolved from then.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kiki, you guys describe Resounding as an awakening. So what does that even mean?
Well, all of us, we have different energy, and we're just different type of vibes, and somehow we just all come and just become one. So yeah, it's an awakening in the case of just trying to get everyone to become one with our music and to resonate with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me throw this at E-Note because what message do you want to spread with your music?
Definitely positivity. I definitely do want to incorporate more things that we learned from like older generation, for example, like Stevie Wonder, or even like, Teddy Riley, or even Timbaland. There's a lot of elements in their music was very musical, is very changing. Just different things, which also is simple, but it also keeps the listener engaged, and also there's more things to listen to and hear as the years go by. So that's kind of what I want to do with my music. I want, as when you hear my music, you hear something different, something more unique, but you're still like, you just can't sit still. You're still moving and jamming out with the music.
Yeah.
One thing I like a lot about you guys is New York, especially New York, but East Coast, you guys have a very street, lyricist vibe that's very real. There's no, I love the colors, you use the graffiti, you use the city, the culture of New York and East Coast is in your music. And I think in the West Coast, we sometimes drop off from that. We're so worried about just smoking a blunt and getting some booty shaking that we forget about the lyrics.
What's wrong with that?
Hey, I'm West
What's wrong with that?
I like a booty shake, okay? I can shake my booty. But I love the power of your lyrics. Like listening to your music just allows me storytelling and takes me off in that direction.
Yeah,
I love it.
That leads me to my point. I'm gonna throw this out. Is it later 4? Is it LTR 4? I mean, I've been debating this all week, man. How do you say your rapper name? You got a white boy confused over here.
Oh my god. Recently I've been going by Later 4.
Okay.
And just to throw it out there, it's my acronym. Like my name is LTR4. So I took my name and just put vowels in between it, and now I made it Later 4.
I dig it. Okay.
Which is, by the way, in a lyric. So
no, I well, but
is it a lyric, homie?
He did say it was evolving, okay, Marissa, so give me some sway, okay? But I did want to say out Later 4, how is Resounding making music that connects with the public through musical expression?
I think that Resounding is very in the know of what's going on right now. Like we're all very self-aware, like we're not like in our own worlds, like we're very self-aware of what goes on, not only in America, across countries and different states and this and the third. And a lot of the times when we do make music, a lot of the time, like our best music to me is when we write how we feel in the moment. Like how we feel in this moment right now and what's going on is when we write a song right now, talking about what's happening around us, like whether it's personally or what's going around in our city, states, country, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely. And Kid Galactic, talk to me about your latest single, Catch This Freestyle, because I know you rap the following lyric. I'm weaving through the haze, I'm eating all the grain. So how can I weave and eat the grain?
Yeah, it's like, in life there's like so many distractions, and there's like so many things that like try to fog like your focus, and like through that you still have to stay focused and like still come out on top and still win. And like either that be personally, career wise, or financially, it's like no matter what you're going through, like you have to stay focused, and like that's how you gotta eat the grain. You stay healthy.
Okay, I can fuck with that. I dig that. We eat it through the grain. Okay, baby. I think it's starting to bleed in the West Coast. But you know what? We're gonna let the listening audience and viewing audience know what's good. We're about to be playing you guys your brand new track. It's called Catch This Freestyle.
Who gon' catch that drive? Picking up the care package. Never gon' catch me lacking. When it come to the competition, I'm on fire now. How you gonna slow me down? You can't. You gotta admit I'm ill. You got me feeling like Phil. All the way to my heels. Put me on the Paris Hills. When you see me, you do panic. Calm down, you acting erratic. Floor's game is tight, I be smiling. There's nobody else to challenge. So why don't you go see Wiz? Get signs that gon' help you win. It don't matter what happens. You're going home with the L's. You're going home with the L's. And somebody to tell. I'm ballin' like James Harden. I'm about to be a starter. You need a starter kit. My team a bunch of alchemists. I'm weaving through the haze. I'm eating all the grain. I'm eating all the grain. I'm eating all the grain. Grew up watching Popeye. That man, hell of a guy. Phasing through these challenges. Got so many more to go. Realize it's a marathon. So no celebrations.
Headspace niggas feeling frustration. Never question me though, this is dedication. I just came back, dog, I needed a vacation. Just to find out I'm still hated in the nation.
Drop like it never fail on my head. New ton of motherfuckers that ain't them dead. The feeling of dread weighing me down in my own head. Like I'm sinking in the sea, but with shoes made of lead. Moving faster and faster, a bitch, I'm ahead. Nobody came for me when I'm bled. I don't fuck with the ops, I don't fuck with the feds. Don't question me, bitch, I said what I said. I'm later for, I don't wait for later. I want it now, girl, so I can savor the flavor, but I gotta go now. I'll be back with the head like the Terminator. I love all my fans, but fuck the haters. Setting up in your house like a renovator. Dirty niggas from Mario, you a hater. I hope you get fed to some alligators. That's big L talking, never small. The rap court is over, now pass me the ball. Y'all niggas inflate yourselves, so high on yourself, you bound to fall. And if my name coming at your mouth on a low, it'll always track back, just know. Cause I'ma have hundreds of people screaming, fuck you, at all my shows. Whoa, karate kid with karate chop. Niggas is down, someone grab a mop. Niggas want no smoke, you can get popped. Just die by your bitch, my lips on my shop. Yo, I refuse, telling myself flop. And I'ma keep going, bitch, not stop. I am the real thing, you a prop. Now who gon' catch this drop?
I know the snakes be around me. I won't let them take my pride away from me. No one's gonna catch me drop. It's a race to the top.
Hey, that's what's good. That is Resounding, and that's their brand new single, Catch This Freestyle. You can see it on YouTube and all the streaming services. Pick one. It's out there, okay? But I just want to remind the listening audience that you're listening to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, and this is Strike a Chord, and we got the New York-based hip-hop group Resounding with us live on air. And I'm about to throw this at Later 4 because talk to me about your opening track, Boondocks, from your latest EP, Brief Announcement. What is that song all about to you?
So when the song happened, I remember KG sent the beat, and I was in North Carolina when the Black Lives Matter thing was happening, and I was just so full of like just pent up aggression and anger and just frustration. And I was like, I don't know what to write about. He was like, write about how you feel. I was like, I feel like fighting. He was like, yo, write about that. So then I wrote the whole thing, like at least the beginning part of like just talking about police brutality and Black Lives Matter and things that go on in this country when it comes to racial inequality. And it's kind of funny because around that time, my sister got into Boondocks. Like she just got into Boondocks and started watching it over and over again. And she watched the first episode. And I was like, I want to use that as the beginning. I want to use this clip like the first line of the first episode of the Boondocks. I want to use that and use that for the song so that people know that, no, we are talking about something that's both culturally known, relatively known, and has been known forever. And if we can help push that to the forefront, we might as well.
Absolutely.
Boondocks has been around for 20 years. So for people who don't know, the animation, it's brilliant. But same, like you said, I mean, the same issues that Black people have been dealing with. And people of color in there has been around and being shown in animation. So I think that's pretty cool that you tied the two together on that to show.
Yeah, absolutely. And the opening line in your track Boondocks, you rap the following: they sent a hit on my head because they can't handle the truth. My life's a job on its own that's in and outside the booth. So what do you want to see change in the policing of America?
I'm gonna get canceled.
Hey, this is a millennial talk show. I mean, there's not enough, media outlets that's letting our voice being heard in the out front. So let it all out. I mean, how do you feel right now? I mean, us on the West Coast, we're not going to know the same feeling that you guys are feeling on the East Coast.
How I see it as that police reform is something that needs to be dismantled from the core. It's something that you can't just take out all the bad cops. You can't just take out all the good cops. It's one of those things where it's like, it's like if a bad cop does something bad, like nothing happens to him. And if a good cop does something to the bad cop, the good cop gets gets fired. And there's so many things that's like systematically has been oppressed forever against Black people. And it's something that you can't just do at surface level. Me personally, I'm not a politician. I'm a rapper. I'm a musician. I do all this stuff. There's definitely a further problem that I can't speak for, but what I do know is that police reform is something that is definitely needed. It's something that needs to happen. It's something that if we want to stop all these different hate crimes, all these different things that's going on, even policies that's going on, like legislations, these redlining, like it's all stemmed from Jim Crow laws. It's all stemmed from segregation. It's all stemmed from something like this isn't new. This is something that's happened since slavery and has never been looked at as, hey, this is an actual problem. Let's actually put laws in place. But instead they rename streets and like stuff like that. It's like, no, we
Black Lives Matter.
And like they just signed Juneteenth into a federal law, but then what?
Right.
I mean, that's the conversation. And then, okay, so you get a holiday now for not knowing that there wasn't slavery for 2 years, but then what? Like,
what happens like after that?
A sign on the street.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You have now acknowledged that Juneteenth is an actual holiday, a national holiday, and you're showing what happens. Police are still able to kill us in the streets and nothing bad happens to them.
Yeah, because I think we can all agree that the discriminatory and abusive policing in our major cities is a serious problem. I mean, but isn't the real problem about maintaining law and order? I mean, why are we not addressing the real issue in the room?
Define law and order.
Well, what I would say is, because, for example, I work at a liquor store part-time, okay? And I had to call the police this week because there was a lady attacking two young men like Donkey Kong with bricks, threatening to hit them. And you know why I called them? It's because I trust them. And where would we be without policing? That's what I mean by law and order.
Well, if anybody else wants to talk, I can speak for myself that when it comes to things like that, you definitely need everybody should want to call the police. Everybody should want to be able to be like, hey, I'm in trouble. I can count on these people to help me. I can help for them. I know they'll come efficiently. I know that they will actually help me. At least as a Black person, I've never felt that when it comes to police. I've never felt that they can show up on time. They won't put me in a folder and put it in the back of their cabinets and never deal with it. Of course, I would love policing. Don't get it twisted. I would love to be able to call the police, know that they would help me, and this, that, and the third happens. But there has been time and time again where they don't show up. They show up hours later. Things don't happen. And of course, it all helps in certain areas. If you go to like predominantly Black areas, there's time again where nothing happens, or they show up guns blazing. And again, like what I said before, it's something that is frustrating because it makes you feel helpless. It makes you feel like nobody wants to help you.
And I think, Chris, you kind of said the key word is you trust, right? So you trust that they'll show up and do it. And when that trust is broken in communities, especially Black communities, Latin community, Latinx communities, and so on, then when there's no trust, then there's no calling. And that's where the re-bridging, the remaking of our police force. I have friends who are police officers, and they're saying the same thing: is if only the bad cops are showing up in that sense and not upholding a law, then who can you trust? Because you can't say, "Hey, only send the good cop." Can you only send the good cop? You know what I mean? Like we don't know. People don't know who's going to show up. My friend, he's white. He's law-abiding, all-American, in the mountains, pro-America. He was killed by a cop. He was pulled over and killed by a cop because he beeped at him, and their family won. So I'm saying it's not just a color thing, but as you said, it's trust.
It's by the content of the character, and I think that's so true. And you know what? I think with your guys' track Boondocks, I think it speaks so perfectly for how the millennial aggression is feeling right now. So why don't we play that music video? Because it's kick-ass. The music's great. Let's hear it right now. This is Resounding, and this is their track.
Excuse me, everyone, I have a brief announcement to make. Jesus was black, Ronald Reagan was the devil, and the government is lying about 9/11. Thank you for your time, and good night.
That's in and outside the booth. I keep my phone in my pocket. If you're on my shit socket, don't talk to me about money. I'll stress it off like a rocket. I want somebody's dad and somebody's mother. If it don't happen to me, it's gonna happen to another. Took the kid's life away. I'm older than my older brother, nigga. I can't breathe, nigga. I feel smothered. The pigs outside and they looking for a reason. One innocent man and you brought out the whole damn legion. What, you scared of something? Why you scared for nothing? I ain't even thinking of you and your ass still judging. We the kings and queens and you gon' fucking respect it. I know you not on my team, bitch, I can always detect it. Nigga, my backbone is black gold. Don't talk to me, you wacko. I spit real and switch flows. Now kiss the ring and watch it throw.
People protesting for their life. Well, with this country, get it right. I can see the racism through their eyes. The color of my skin should've make you wanna take my life. People protesting for their life. Well, with this country, get it right. I can see the racism through their eyes. The color of my skin should've make you wanna fucking take my life. If I made all this, I'ma tear shit down. If I made all this, I'ma tear shit down. If I made all this, I'ma tear shit down. Niggas took my crown, I'ma burn shit down. If I made all this, I'ma tear shit down. If I made all this, I'ma tear shit down. If I made all this, I'ma tear shit down. Niggas took my crown, I'ma burn shit down.
A nigga I can't breathe, a nigga I can't beat. Oh niggas gon' pop me like we cannibalize. 4 years we told y'all lies. 4 years mama's cry, so don't you call me lazy. Go ahead and call me crazy. So niggas fuck you, baby. Oh looking now, you're angry. I do the work in time. My skin is not the crime. The system got the bump. I won't be right and wrong. I'll be collecting pain. Give us our reparations.
Hey, that's what's good. That is Resounding, and you can check out their brand new EP. It's out now on all streaming services. It's called Brief Announcement. And you know what? I want to throw this at Kid Galactic, but before I begin, I just want to remind the listening audience out there that you are listening to the Chris Collins Show, Millennial Talk Show, and this is Strike a Chord with hip-hop bass group out in New York City. Oh, let's not forget Philadelphia too. Resounding. But hey, I'm gonna throw this at Kid Galactic because what I saw online is you guys are gonna be performing live on October 30th in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And for the listeners, did I mention that the show is sold out? I mean, how big does that feel to be performing live again as a group on one stage?
It was like, dope, because like we haven't performed in such a long time, and like we were so like, okay, how is it gonna go? But we performed so many times beforehand that when we did perform at that show, that we had so much chemistry already. Like it was crazy. It was amazing, and that's really what it was. Like we was coming up with new music. We wanted to perform that music, and just the energy of the crowd. They loved us, and we interacted with them. They interacted with us, and just it was also at one point we wasn't knowing if Eno was going to perform because our energy is not just me, Kiki, and Later Four. It's actually Eno as well because he DJs. Yeah. Sometimes we literally will go to practice space and rehearse our like performances. So it's not like we're just going on as other acts and just play the track. It's like no, we have like
there's cues.
We have cues. We have like drops with Eno that's gonna do. We have dance moves that we do a little bit.
So, yeah, I see on Eno's Instagram page, you be slapping the bass. I see you, brother. I see you. You ain't hiding. I
like how you guys are actually performing. You're not just going up and winging it.
That's
I feel like this, but being a performer.
You know what, Marissa? That's such a good point. That is a big thing that sometimes drives me nuts with hip hop. Sometimes when they just they hit the play button and you see no action. That's why sometimes I used to love seeing Atmosphere live because they used to have the whole entourage, and I can clearly see that. You know, you got Eno, you're kind of clearly handling the mantle with resounding, which is a big deal. And Kiki, I know you're an engineer, and the rest of you guys too are, big cats. But since I got about a minute, I did want to ask Kiki this. The title of your track, Insecurities, and we're going to be playing the remix version. But let me ask you this. Like, what are your insecurities?
Honestly, that's a great question. Yeah, man, honestly, the way that song came out was just like my way of like my mental state at the time. And just like a lot of things that I feel like people were like perceiving me of, and that's been a real challenge. But yeah, I recorded that song actually in this room, my bedroom, and it was all freestyled. And I just felt like, wow, I feel like I'm letting out something that I've been holding in for a long time. And just like the way I looked and everything, and that's how I use music. I use music as an outlet, like all my guys, I know they do the same way and everyone else does. So yeah, it was just great to release that energy, that negative energy out, but like in a way that it became positive because I know other people feel the same way and we can all relate and resonate with.
Yeah, and I have it here all queued up so we can listen to it.
You know what? But I do want to say before we play it, how cool are we to be interviewing Kiki in the room that she recorded Insecurities in? That I just wanted to note out right now. But let's play that track right now. This is Resounding, and this is their remix version of their track Insecure.
I wanna get away. My mind is drifting. I can hear myself say, I'm sipping. I got melody for days. Sing my heart out to escape for a moment. I disappear, just a moment, 'cause I'm still here, yeah. There's a thing about this life. What is wrong and what is right? Should I go up or down or side to side? There's a thing about this life. What is wrong and what is right? Should I go up or down or side to side? Insecurity flowing through my bloodstreams. Gotta stop the madness. Stop believing in my dreams. Insecurities flowing through my bloodstreams. Gotta stop the madness. Stop believing in me.
Try to take me under with you. Have me feeling like I won't enough, yeah. Wanna call you out, you change the subject. So you can never come around, I gotta protect.
Is this what it's supposed to really feel like? The fear inside my soul on these dark nights. Karma gets you good, so I won't fight. Leave the rest to the dirt and hope it grows right.
Read what I like so it grow high. Smoke on that shit make you squint like a strobe light. I took control of my own mind. Do what I want, they gon' watch me like yokai.
Living like I should cause I can't die. Cause counting all these days until I'm done will make it feel right. You blink the simulation glitching in the sunshine. Might be a little insecure but I'm not dead right. Insecurity flowing through my bloodstreams. Gotta stop the madness. Stop believing in my dreams. Insecurities flowing through my bloodstreams. Gotta stop the madness. Stop believing in me.
Yeah, you know what's good. That's Resounding, and that's their remix version of Insecurities, also on their brief announcement EP. Go ahead and check them out wherever you listen to your music. And we wanted to thank you guys again later for Kiki Corona, E-Note, and Kid Galactic for joining the Chris College Show, Millennial Talk Show. Hopefully we talk soon, fam. Great seeing you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Always, fam. We'll talk soon.
Ciao.